Friday, it's 5 p.m, and although we only stepped away from our desk, or from the podcast at least, for about 3 weeks, it feels like the entire world has changed, and indeed you've been to the other side of it, Bradley.
I have, mate. 5 videos have gone out in 3 weeks. We've had several different shoot days to sort of accomplish everything that we need to do in the next couple of months and beyond. Not everything, but some of the stuff we need to do. I've been to Japan. We've been to Cornwall. It's been pretty big.
I've been
You've
to the
been
Peaks.
to the Natural History Museum. You've been to the Peaks. Have you been to the Peaks?
I've been to the Peaks, Bradley. I went to
When did you go to the
Thornbridge.
Peaks? Oh, blimey. There you go.
I went to the Peaks the weekend that you went to Japan. I was up in staying in Bakewell for a couple of days for an in-law's 70th. So went to Thornbridge, went to the most stunning pub called the Pack Horse, which I didn't realise when we booked it for Sunday lunch. It's not only certainly where we sat, which was right by the fire. It feels like a pub that has not changed for 150 years. It was truly like stepping back in time. I've never really been in a pub like it. But it's not a Thornbridge pub. It is owned by the same guy that one of the owners of Thornbridge. It's a separate business. I guess because it's the only pub he owns. So he clearly fell in love with it.
Okay.
And they just do incredible food. It's pretty much all Thornbridge beer. And it was just magical. It's called the Pack Horse. If you're ever near Bakewell, you must go for a Sunday lunch. The food was incredible. The beer was incredible. The vibe was unlike anything I've ever experienced. And we got really lucky because generally I think they don't have tables, but they had a cancellation. So we snuck in.
Nice.
We also, we've been to Cornwall for the Craft Beer Channel. We're filming another section of Keep Cask Alive 3, which will be with you next summer. And this one is part of an episode all about the great beer festivals of the UK. And I was trying to describe Celtic Beer Festival, which is run in the cellars of St Austell Brewery, to Brad. And did I do it justice by calling it like pure chaos?
It was pretty chaotic on the Saturday. In a good way, I guess. Like, people were letting their hair down for sure. You're in this sort of subterranean layer, which, to be honest, when you described it to me, I was picturing sort of like small catacombs, or maybe not vast amphitheaters underground, which is essentially what it is. It's the amount of hops they must have in that giant room. Must be sublime. The smell of it must be incredible when it's not being Celtic Beer Festival. But the spaces were like pretty incredible, pretty unique. I thought it was great. The crowd was rowdy AF on the Saturday. I only stayed. You left pretty early in the morning. I was there until about 3 p.m. and it was getting rowdy. They had lots of cool bands playing, lots of sort of sea shanties happening. There was "This Is My Cornwall" was a sort of rousing song that was sung by a sea shanty man, and also a choir that consisted of loads of people from the brew team and the whole sort of staff at the brewery, which was
not
pretty
enough
sweet.
brew team choirs in this country. That's what we're looking to protect.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. They were good. They sung some Bill Withers, which I'm a big fan of choirs singing Bill Withers. Lovely Day. I've actually seen that there's I can't remember what they're called, the community band that's in Deptford that's singing the Dog and Bell every year. They sing Bill Withers' Lovely Day, which I think is a great choir song because it's just an uplifting, sort of non-denominational, whatever, sort of just cheery song.
It's got Call and Answer, which always worked with a choir as well. It's the perfect
yeah.
choir song. Yeah,
it's very good. So I very much enjoyed that. They played. They had a guy with a banjo up on stage at one point who was doing dueling banjos, which I'm a big fan of. Takes me straight back to the movie Deliverance, which is a great sort of seminal 70s. What would you call it? Like nature horror film, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it something you want to be reminded of on a night out? Just sit there thinking about Deliverance?
Well, I did think where are the escape exits in case it all goes a bit Deliverance right now. But there wasn't enough room to squeal like a piggy in there. I don't think it was pretty. It was pretty Ramo. It was good, but I wouldn't say it felt claustrophobic. It was like it's a vast sort of spaces, and lots of different unique spaces as well. You know, there was the rum room. There was like a VIP bit at the top, which, to be honest, the VIP pit everyone seemed to be in. So I don't know what that was about. Didn't really.
Everybody's
seem to be
important to
a VIP
St
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Cornish
the old,
pasties
because they used to
all
import
round.
and age rum right up until when did they? Like, it was only like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
that they
not a long
stopped.
time ago. I think they said it was Ghanaian rum. It was definitely some
Ghanaian
sort of
rum.
rum. Yeah.
Which is not something I really knew, and I have dug into the archives of St Austell before with the late and great Roger Ryman. So yeah, I mean, I've been to that festival twice before, and it is truly magical, but truly unlike anything else, and that's why we wanted to cover it for our video, because we're trying to get as many different and exciting and culturally significant, culturally diverse things. You know, there's obviously GBBF, or perhaps no more. Then there's going to be some beautiful outdoor ones in spring. But this one, with the sea shanties, with the fact that most of Cornwall seems to turn up for their annual night out and acts that way, it's just bizarre and beautiful.
It felt like really like a locals thing for sure. Like there was a lot of Cornish pride going on in that place, and the kind of like saying it was a country and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be from Devon at that festival.
No, probably not. Yeah, it was really nice. I very much enjoyed it. The beers were great. Obviously, a vast selection of cask as well as some keg.
Tell us about your rum and coke beer, Bradley. You were much taken with.
Yeah, so it was called X Marks the Spot, I think it was. I can't remember the young guy who was a trainee or just a recently qualified brew team member. But I was talking to him throughout the festival. I've forgotten his name because that's just how it happens sometimes. But
It'll be in the video, don't worry.
Yeah, he was a really young guy, and he just wanted to make a pirate-themed beer, which I thought was admirable. And I actually thought it had rum in, because at some point someone said it had a litre of rum in it, which it didn't. It just had loads of spices.
It's so glorious. Like, there's so many tall tales in alcohol, and you can see how quickly they start. Like, that beer was brewed at the Bath site. The Bath Ale site, I think it was, or maybe it was at St Austell. And still, even within the walls of the brewery, the facts had got wrong. The tale had got taller to the point where they were just grogging it with rum. But no, they just used flavours from rum. So there was vanilla and there was cinnamon and other flavours that you might find in a good rum put into the whirlpool of this sort of... Was it like a ESB kind of vibe?
Yeah, it was. I would say it was. And it just tasted like a rum and coke, which reminded me of being I was in one sort of sweaty, cavernous venue, and it reminded me of being in a sweaty, tiny venue from being in indie clubs like Candy Box and White Heat and Trash and all these other places I used to go to in London back in the day, and drinking double rum and cokes for like £2.50 or something insane.
You got to assume those spirits were watered down though, because somehow we always made it through the night despite having drunk doubles the entire time.
It's true. Yeah, they must have been like, maybe what you might do to you, like if you had a nan, you might like water down their brandy or sherry or something, just to make sure they're not going crazy. It felt like it had been nan kind of messed with.
Or like when you make squash for your 3-year-old.
Yeah, you just put the tiniest amount in.
Yeah, and then they have a full strength juice, and they're like, what is this?
Whoa. Yeah, their little minds are blown. It also, so that's just reminded me of, I used to go to a club in Deptford called Bunker Club, which was literally like an underground bunker. And that was ran by an old couple that I reckon were in their 70s. And I was always amazed by how loud it was, how cheap the double rum and cokes were. And again, like, they must have been watering them down. But they were like genuinely old people running this nightclub, which was quite sweet. But also, I reckon
your
so.
Your mum and dad for a night.
Yeah, but it was like full of Goldsmith students back in the day. It was pretty good. I think it's gone now. But yeah.
Well, there you go. Derailment number
There you go.
one. We
Derailment
actually
number
had to start this podcast again because my mic was hot, and there was a much wilder derailment started by me. So you're doing well, folks.
You're welcome.
So yeah, that was us last weekend, but you won't sadly see the result of that for
Not for a while.
about 9 months. Yeah, you might see some footage from Japan, but tell us about the Mad Brad trip, the mad last minute Brad trip to
so
Japan.
I was going.
I'm going to crack a beer while you do.
Yeah, go for it. I might do the same actually. Yeah, I've got Implosion by 2-0, which is non-alcoholic lager, because I've got a drive in a little bit. But I was going to go to LA last minute. I'm just doing this thing now where I'm getting a bit older and I don't have a kid, where I book a holiday super last minute. And I've been wanting to go to Japan for a very long time. I'd say I've been seriously looking for the last 6 months or less about the idea and prospect of going. But I thought it would be next year. But when I started looking at the cost of going to Los Angeles versus going to Tokyo, it was cheaper to go to Tokyo, which just blew my tiny mind. I still don't really understand how it was so cheap. But it was absolutely incredible. Apart from the sort of 24-hour travel there each way, which was an absolute killer. And I was up at 3:00 in the morning last night, so I think my brain is still wired on Japanese time or something. But it's an absolutely mind-bogglingly incredible place to go. We didn't really get out of Tokyo. I was only there for 9 days, 8 nights. But we went to like a different whole city within Tokyo each day. I went to some pretty cool beery places. I didn't get to as many as I'd like because seemingly life was conspiring against me. The days that I'd kind of planned to go to breweries, they were closed. So that was like they were closed on a Tuesday, I think it was. I had a whole day planned to go to several breweries, and drink some snow beer, some like ice topped beer, which I also couldn't get my hands on. That was seemingly really difficult to get out there. But I did go to lots of places. I went to this area called Gongai, where there's 270 like micro bars within a 4-block radius, a tiny little square. You can walk there from Shibuya, so it's like pretty central. And it has a feel of like, well, it looks like a movie set. It looks like you're in Blade Runner or something. It's very, very tiny little streets, just neon lit, loads of mad signs everywhere. You know, incongruous sort of names and signs that you don't really understand what they mean. And you walk past, they're all like izakaya sort of looking little joints. You can probably fit 7 to 10 people max in each one of them. And we went there twice and stayed out till like 4 in the morning. But I think a lot of them were open till 5 in the morning. They're open till 5 in the morning.
Are you just crawling along each one?
Going to
different ones.
Yeah, went to quite a few different ones. My favourite was, which I already knew about, that I knew I had to go to, was a place called Deathmatch in Hell, which is a heavy metal bar, which is incredible. It's such a cool bar. It's one of the most fun, welcoming bar. Heavy metal bars are always the most welcoming bars to go into. People are so lovely. And we were in there, quite a bit for the 2 nights that we went. I even bought a t-shirt, which I'm not sure where I'm going to be able to wear the t-shirt because it's incredibly rude on the front. It's got like the guy that runs it is called Go, and it's got his severed head sort of sat in between like a woman's massive boobs, basically. And it's a black t-shirt. Everything's in red, and it looks like a horror thing. So his head's like, and then it says "Death Match in Hell," and the back on it says like 666. Every drink in there is 666 yen, which is like £3, which actually isn't that cheap because a lot of places you go, a beer is £2, Johnny. £2 for a nice crispy Asahi Super Dry or whatever you're drinking. Loads of Asahi Super Dry. Loads of Santori malt, something malt, I can't remember what it was called. a little bit of Sapporo. I just stuck with the like premium lagers essentially while I was there. Obviously some a little bit of sake, some soju, which was pretty tasty stuff. Some sort of Japanese sours that I really enjoyed. That were, I think they're like a soju type thing as well. So it's sort of kind of plummy, winey. I don't even know what it's like, fermented fruit kind of based stuff. But I was having these lemon sojus that were divine. Um, had an absolutely brilliant time, mate. Went to some incredible bars. Went to a place called Driving Den Den, where I might have done something quite important, which will be coming up on a video, a little short I'm putting together. I'm going to do a couple of shorts if I can, maybe one about my ideal drinking day in Tokyo, if I've got enough footage for that. One about my new favorite bar that I found in the world, tiny little place in an underground station in a secret 1970s 80s Showa era street. It's super tucked away. There's no signs. I had to walk around this underground station, Asuka, for like 20 minutes to work out where it was. It was like a little rabbit warren hidden away. Absolutely incredible place. Went to loads. I mean, like Shibuya alone is mad. I know that's sort of like the scramble crossing bit is the big bit you see everyone crossing where thousands of people cross at a time. We went there the first night because I was like, well, we've got to go there. We've got to stay awake. So we just went there. And my mind was like, whoa, it's so massive. And we may or may not have gone to an Irish pub on the first night called The Hub. And drunk Asahi or something again. But I did go to some great places. I didn't eat as much Japanese food as Kirsty
This is
was
going to be the next
hoping.
question. How did you deal with the
Yeah.
cuisine, brothers?
I had a few little bits of Japanese food. I found pretty early on, because I watched this guy. He's a great YouTuber. He's called Abroad in Japan. His name's Chris something. He doesn't need a plug. He's got like millions and millions of views. Anyone who's thinking of going to Japan or just likes slightly sort of irreverent, baldy Englishmen having a great time somewhere, somewhere totally alien to them, go and check out Chris. He's incredible abroad in Japan. But he'd put me on to Kamida coffee shop, which is amazing. So now I've brought back loads of Kamida stuff. This is what they serve orange juice in, Johnny. This is this mad thing. They bring an orange juice up, freshly squeezed orange juice in this. So I was like, well, I'm buying one of those. These are gachapon in here. These are all the little gachapon, which are the little machines where you put in your 100 yen, 100 yen, 100 yen, 100 yen coins, 4 to 5 at a time, and you're just going, and then you get these little, tiny little, balls out that have got all kinds of interesting stuff in. I spent £10 trying to get a little button making machine gachapon out of a machine, and I nearly lost my rag because the picture showed that every time you would get a fucking button making machine, it was very cool. It's like a little press, and you can literally make your own buttons at home. It's wild. I haven't actually cracked it open yet, but I had to try it 3 times to win one. I just kept getting the bits that went with it, the associated accessories that would go with a button machine. And I even like grabbed a person and was like going, what's going on? This machine, look. I pointed at the photo. I was like, I'm supposed to get that. And they were like, then they pointed out along the row of like 10 of them, right at the end was one where it was like, didn't have the machine. So I nearly lost my mind on that. What was I talking about? Oh, Kamida. So Kamida is an institution. There's thousands of them all over Japan. They're like a mid-century, beautiful wooden lined, panelled. Looks a bit like an American diner, but like a Japanese interpretation. And they serve things like curry, pork sandwiches and stuff like sandos. But they also serve Japanese spaghetti bolognese, Johnny, which I must say I did have at least twice.
What's Japanese bolognese like? What's the difference?
I would say it was like the sort of spice regime was a little bit different. It was a little bit spicier. I can't believe I'm talking
There's
about
no spice
bolognese.
in bolognese.
I know, I was going to say, there's no spice in
So-
bolognese. So it had a little bit of spice. It was like really good. Really good, Johnny. I went down to about one meal a day and I was walking, don't know, 10, 15 miles a day. So I think I lost a little bit of weight while I was over there. I was drinking a lot of beer as well.
I was going to say, I don't know how
be
much
fair.
sugar and alcohol is in soju,
No.
but
So the other thing was I got addicted to going into a place called Family Mart, which is like a corner shop, which I know that sounds, you're like, what are you on about? But there's this whole thing called Combini culture over there, which is all about the sort of like reverence of corner shops, like how amazing they are. So they've got 7-Eleven, Family Mart. There's like a whole gaggle of these different corner shops which are open super late. So at like 4 a.m, when we were in Gongai, we were coming out going to Family Mart, getting some snackage, and I'd be getting my Pocari Sweat on for the next day. I'd get a bottle in. Pocari Sweat. I wish we had that over here. It's this sort of like a kind of spicy water, I would say. It's literally called sweat, like sweat. So it's a salty, sweet electrolyte packed water that honestly, I think it's the best hangover cure I've ever tried. Like I felt like a superhuman when I drank a liter of it after being hungover.
a litre
Maybe not. Yeah,
of
about
salty, sugary
750.
water.
It's not that salty. It's just got the right. So apparently, it's a scientifically kind of made. It's not like drinking Lucozade or anything. It's not actually got that much sugar in, but it's balanced for rehydration, essentially, and replacement of electrolytes after sport. So I'm counting drinking and
As a
walking
sport.
like a half marathon every day as a sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish we had Pocari Sweat over here because I thought it tasted absolutely delicious. And,
Well, every time you've told me a
big
story
fan.
about Japan, all I can think is we explore new places in very different ways.
Mm.
But I
So
will
I went-
check out the Pocari Sweat,
Yeah, I went
to be fair, if
to
it's a hangover cure.
I went to Japan's biggest flea market outside of Tokyo and met a guy called Yoshi, who I've met in Peckham boot sale. We came all the way over from Japan to sell at Peckham Car Boot. And I spotted him and I was like, ah. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe you've come all the way from London. He like took our photo and shared it on the Instagram with all the sort of flea market community that I'm part of, I suppose. It's just incredible, Johnny. Such a great place. We went to Japanese Tokyo Disney just because it was raining one day, and I didn't fancy trudging around sort of a new area, so I just said to Kirsty, no one's going to be in Disney. Let's go to Disney. It's going to be fun. So we went to Disney, put our rain jackets on. Kirsty had a little umbrella, and we went on Thunder Mountain about 4 times. It was great.
Nice. That's how you do it. Well, yeah, Japan does sound amazing. I can't wait to go to Golden Guy. I'm hopefully going for not my next book, but the book after, because there's now 2 in the works, and I will be hitting you up for some recommendations on hangover cures. Maybe not on bolognese.
No. Shall I just run through really quickly a couple of things? So, if you're going, anyone out there, you want to make sure, if you're just in Tokyo for a few days or whatever, make sure your hotel is near the Yamanote line, which is like a ring line that goes absolutely everywhere, all the different areas that you could possibly want to go in Tokyo. We stayed at a place called Appa Hotel, which are also everywhere. It's a bit like Holiday Inn or Travel Lodge or something, but a bit nicer, but very, very cheap. We were up on the 20th floor, so the view was amazing. They had an onsen in there. Not that we went to the onsen, but that's like a kind of kind of bathing place where you can go and sauna and do all sorts of stuff. Cool areas. Shimo Kitazawa is very, very cool area. There's a place called Village Vanguard, which is like the inside of Brad's mind. It's just a giant mega mart of like crazy cult weird stuff. one thing I forgot to buy out there was it's called an automatone or something, and it's basically, it looks like like a musical note, but it's got a face on the end of it, right? So the the like round bit at the bottom of a musical note. I don't know what that's called. Is that a clavicle or something? I don't know. Basically, it's a musical instrument. It sounds a bit like a stylophone. You play the top of it, and you squeeze the little mouth open, and it sings. It looks like a sort of Jim Henson's Muppet. And they sell those in Village Vanguard, and I bloody forgot to go back and get one. Go there. Koenji's very cool. That's another cool hipster area. Shibuya is just like mental. That's the bit everyone sees in films and TV shows. Incredible places to go there. Go to Lost Bar, which is the guy abroad in Japan's bar. We went there and we had a cheese platter. So he's an English guy. You get cheese and crackers basically on a big plate, and they keep replenishing the crackers as much as you like. Very, very fun. Great place. We looked out on some neon signs. She Wolf Diner I really liked in Shibuya as well. I went there for a beery breakfast, and it was great. Kokoro Dokoro is a little rock and roll place, which I'm going to put a little video up, because all the DJs were like singing, screaming emo tunes down microphones while we were in there, and it was pretty weird and intense, but very, very fun.
Yeah.
So that's
it's not the kind of music you generally associate with a nice meal out. Like I want to hear somebody let out their emotional trauma while I eat bolognese.
Yeah. Harajuku, everyone's heard of Harajuku Girls, and it's sort of like a fashiony kind of area, but there's actually this really, really great street that's just got loads of nice coffee shops and stuff on it, and gachapon halls where you can get the sweet gachapon out of the little machines. A mad shop called Wiggle Wiggle, which was the cutest, weirdest place I've ever been. Asakusa has Drive-In Den, which is the underground coolest bar in the world. And there's so many more places that I will get to at another point, I'm sure. But honestly, I'd highly recommend going there. The yen is very cheap at the moment. Like I say, you can go out and have a bit of scran and a couple of beers, and it's under a tenner for like two people. It's wildly cheap.
It's the way it should be. It's the way it should be. And the budget yesterday has not helped us achieve anything like that. But
no.
Hey, so yeah, Brad has been in Japan. I've been to the peaks. We have done 2 shoots this week. Well, sorry, 1 shoot, but two main videos, in which we very, very quickly had to finish off this week's episode with a quick edit down of our final review of Glisten and looking at who won. So we'll dig into that video in a bit. But we also recorded our annual Christmas video. Although, full disclosure, we filmed it so early this year, we were so on it, they didn't have the Christmas decorations up at the Beer Merchants tap. So, luckily, I bought
next
some
week,
tinsel.
I think they're coming. Yeah.
Is it? Right, okay. So that's when we usually shoot it, because it's usually when it's fresh. So I think we dressed it pretty nicely. There's some Fortnum and Mason biscuits and some cheap tinsel. It will hopefully have the vibe that everybody knows and loves. And we're still working out the details of our live show that will be probably a very similar vibe, with probably very similar snacks. And we'll be announcing that as soon as we can. But let's talk, because we're already half an hour in. Let's talk about the mad amount of videos that we didn't get to talk about in the previous Miss Pods. So... We won't talk about the Meantime one, because we covered that extensively the week. I think that was the final podcast, wasn't it? But hopefully folks have been going there and seeing what it's like and seeing what the beers being made there are like, and having a lovely time when they're going to gigs. Because it was the Radiohead gigs there this week, wasn't it? So I presume...
Well, Radiohead, they played the Dome. Radiohead played the Dome.
I think it was the Dome.
Really?
Well, you got to find somewhere that can fit that many fans. Well, it can't fit enough fans, because I didn't fucking get tickets. Anyway, so then we had the smoked beer episode, which has actually done really well, considering it's a smoked beer episode.
Yeah.
I was worried that we were going too niche, but actually people have really appreciated it, and in particular the history around it. Did it persuade you that smoked beer is cool, Bradders?
I think smoked beer's cool. Do I want to drink smoked beers all the time? No. But can I see sort of certain circumstances where I'd happily drink a smoked beer? 100%. Do I want to go to where they smoke all the malts? Yes, 1,000,000%. And do I think it's a unique style of beer that you need to try before you die? Yeah, you have to try it. And I would say try it with some nice cheeses. Maybe get some frazzles in to really smoky it up. But
I thought you were going to say, to round it out, but no, you want to amp up the smoke.
maybe, I don't know. I feel like they could do with a bit of sweetness. So maybe something a bit sweet with them. So maybe like a nice sort of cheese board. Maybe some what is it, quince jam or something along on your. I don't know. Just going.
It's a dead fancy way of adding sweetness, but I'm here for it.
I was trying to elevate after I've said I've just eaten bloody bolognese in Japan. I was trying to sound slightly cultured.
I know what quince is. Yeah,
I know what quinces are. yeah.
Say what, quince juice. When I was at Little Pomona during the harvest for the meaning of not meaning of beer, a year in beer, and I was there on a day when they were pressing quince, and it was delicious. It was somewhere between like apple juice and lemonade, like really, really sweet, but really, really zingy. It was delicious. I don't think there's enough quince to ever.
I was going to say,
squeeze
surely
it and package it.
They're tiny little fuckers. You must need a lot of juice out of them.
The quinces are massive.
Are they? Oh, right.
Yeah, they're like they're like that,
See,
and they're rock hard.
Oh, I'm getting a bit confused with what I'm thinking of quinces, but yeah.
So how did we get to quince? Oh yeah, smoked beer. So yeah, I mean, definitely, we've been saying this for years now, but we definitely are going to go to Bamberg and explore that culture, because it's clearly something that people are intrigued about, but it's also not something that people seem to drink or talk about a lot, which is what we also found about Hefeweizen as well. And I think that maybe one day, we actually know the head of marketing now at Weihenstephan, so because he's moved from a different brewery, so we need to get that sorted and go and tell some more stories about Hefeweizen, because there's it's a bit like Never Nudes. It's like, you don't think they're out there, but there are dozens of them that love smoked beer or Hefeweizen. Probably different people, very different styles, but there's dozens of them. We then had our physics episode. Have you been using your physics since we discovered it is really quite good at nitro beer and indeed check pours?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I haven't got it out today, but it is a great bit of kit. Like, I'm not going to lie. Coming into Christmas time, don't know if it's in the Black Friday sales, probably is. But it's genuinely an excellent bit of premium plastic, Jonny. I think, there's some splashes of metal on there that really elevate it above the Aldi one, which we got. I remember in the comments, a lot of people were like, the Aldi one isn't a copy. It's a totally different product that's based on some other fucking product. I can't remember what it was called, but someone was going in hard on saying that it wasn't a copy. I don't know if maybe I did trash it and say it was a copy, but I mean, the draft one.
I'm not sure you can. Just to defend both you and indeed that person, there's not really much to copy. It's a pump.
Nah. It's a pump with some ultrasonic. Well, someone went in real deep on the ultrasonic stuff, and that there was like unique tech. That was somebody else that was going on about the draft pour, whatever it's called.
So I mean, there is a Facebook enthusiasts group who contacted us when they found out we had a physics, asking if we'd like to join, and they were in the comments quite a bit, answering people's questions and stuff like that. So there's a bit like the pinter, you get people that really enjoy it, and then they dig deep and they go harder. So talking about how it's better to pinprick the cans of nitro beers before you pour it. We had a load of questions, and it's something I want you to do, whether you film it or not. Maybe try it first and then film it if it works. Lots of people asking if you could get a kind of smooth pour bitter or even a cask style oh my god, sparkler head on it, and whether that would improve or detract from a good beer. So maybe get yourself a bottle of Timmy's and try that, because if it can create anything close to a beautiful, fresh, sparkled Timothy Taylor's Landlord, that's also another benefit. I think the key with this gadget is to have a purpose for it.
We can't tell people that because then they won't go to the pub. But other than that, they need to go get their cask in the pub.
I don't think that anybody, I hope that nobody is sat at home and goes, oh, I fancy going to the pub. No, wait, I've got my physics machine, I'll just drink here. I don't think that's what this machine is about.
Yeah.
This machine is about, I'm not going out tonight for whatever reason it is, but I can still have a nice experience at home.
Yeah. There's a guy on Instagram, he's got like a punny name with Nitro Surge stuff in it, but he's doing all the pinprick stuff, and then he has different stouts and porters, but he's got like a plate that they sit on, a Guinness plate that they sit on. And I saw he poured something out into a jug the other day. It was a Guinness gravy. Poured it into a jug, and then put water on the plate, which obviously must transmit the ultrasonic or something, and then like zapped the gravy and was pouring out into a pint. So I don't know. I didn't watch the end of the video because I thought it was a bit grim. But there's a whole fetish around ultrasonic motors, seemingly,
right?
And all this sort of stuff. But
well, it could be a direction for lowbrow, but I think I think we have reached the limits. We're deep into marginal gains at this point. Like, you could just get yourself a physics machine. You don't need to prick the can. You don't necessarily even really need to hack it with a little bit of homebrew pipe. Like, you can get great results without pricking the can, and just by using that nitro pour. Sorry, it's not a nitro pour. Using the ultrasonics to get a really creamy head on top of your beer, and it's a cool thing. And the key to these things is having a target in mind. It's not going, I'm just going to pour this like I would a can, because then it is entirely fucking pointless, like lots of people were saying in the comments. But if you can affect the foam and the texture of it, you can have a lot of fun with these machines. And I haven't bought myself one yet, but I will be buying myself one.
I mean, physics will probably send us on. They were nearly on 30,000 views, that video.
Well, I don't want to assume, and I want to support a cool small independent business making plastic, mate.
Maybe
it's craft plastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was a great video. I really enjoyed making that, and was really genuinely surprised with it. And now we come to our little series that we've just finished, and that, I mean, considering we filmed the first scene of that, we've been talking about it with the guys at Planet Beer TV for a year. Finally filmed the first scene, I think, midsummer. And I was still editing it at midnight on Tuesday to get it all to come together into that, I like to think, very dramatic finale. Which was slightly tainted by Chris's witness tampering. But it was well won. You can't argue with the Untapped scores, and I think they made a really beautiful beer, and I'd really love to try it again. And lots of people are asking for the homebrew recipes of those two beers, but also maybe for us to do a homebrew episode on Bright IPA, because it's exactly the kind of beer I'd like to have at home in my cornies, because it's hoppy but it's crushable. So I think maybe we'll try and do a homebrew episode on Bright IPA next year, maybe around harvest, when we can tap up Yakima Chief for some bang fresh hops and really, I think, use Bright IPA as it's supposed to be used, which is singing the praises of the new hop harvest. That's where I think Bright IPA has a real, it's not about fresh hop. It's just about, a bit like historically you had this thing called October beer, which would be this big, strong, bold beer brewed with the new season's malt and hops, and you brew a big beer to celebrate it. You'd age it for a year and drink it at the next festival. This is like the modern version of that. You've condensed it down to, well, we can make this beer in 3 weeks, so we'll just do that and celebrate harvest right away. So that's why I like the idea of Bright IPA, and maybe next September we'll do that. But it would be a combination of those two recipes, because I think they got the malt bill bang on. I think their bitterness was a little bit too low. And I think a combination of those hop bills. Ours wasn't quite juicy enough, and theirs was a bit too NZ influenced. so we can play around and find a beautiful sort of 5.5% hoppy crushable beer. I did find, and I'm struggling to find it now, I lost a great comment, which was on that video on the hop topic. Here we go. Sorry, Marmite the dog, who says, surely their use of NZ hops is the same as the celebrated Hellas Pilsner brewer who makes a great beer with only English hops. You canna, I'm assuming he's Scottish, you canna have it both ways. And hands in the air, no, we can't. It's a completely fair comment. I was playing a role slightly in that video with the style stuff because I'm not somebody, and certainly after my Smod visit, certainly not somebody that really cares about style guidelines. I think that style guidelines are important when you're talking to people about beer and educating them about it and trying to tell them what to expect. But if we're going to start to restrict what ingredients you can use to create that, then it becomes very unhelpful and dogmatic and silly. So absolutely, Marmite the dog, you're 100% right. I guess for the video, while we were trying to work out what that style was, I thought it was important to say, well, let's try and recreate what others have done for now, and then we can start playing with it. But yeah, as a beer itself, you're 100% right. It doesn't matter what hops you use, really. It's the overall effect, and the overall effect of Planet Beer TV's hop bill was better than ours for the style. Much as it pains me. But that Glisten was tasting great. It feels like it's the one that we were tasting by can a couple of weeks later had really rounded out really nicely. And quite often you have that with hoppy beers, like 4 to 6 weeks after packaging is when it peaks. Which is why I don't think IPA from the tank is a particularly special thing. When you're offered it, you're like, ooh, that's going to be green. But lager from the tank. So, yeah, really good experiment. I learned a huge amount about how these things come together, these styles, these ideas. And indeed, having made it, I now understand, if not strictly what the recipe of a bright IPA should be, what it's trying to give to the world. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we could even brew one with Beak, who brought it to the UK as well. Maybe we could go see those guys again, because it's been a long old time. Any takeaways from those vids, Brad?
I still not 100% sure what a bright IPA is, and I'm not sure it really matters. It's just it's just fun, isn't it? It's just another fun IPA style. I feel like every year we need to have a new name for IPA to kind of keep everyone... We need
something to talk about on podcasts, yeah.
Well, we need something to talk about, but also like to keep everyone interested. Although, I mean, everyone's just drinking hazies still anyway, so...
Yeah, I don't think there's been huge interest in bright IPAs. And I think the only reason they called it a certain style is, to some extent, I think it's that harvest element. It's like, woo, we're excited about these new hops. But B, it's because if you put that out, you'd have to claim it was a Westie. You couldn't claim it was a hazy IPA because people would be like, well, it doesn't look right. But equally, the bitterness is so low that people would be like, why aren't West Coast IPAs bitter anymore? So our dogma, our discourse, and the drinkers that are absolute nerds about style guidelines boxes into creating ever more styles of IPA. Whereas actually, probably we should just call bright IPAs West Coast IPAs, and the house style is for a slightly lower bitterness, you know? Wine is much better at doing this, you know? You call it the grape variety, and whatever the grape gives you is cool, you know? You don't go, well, that can't possibly be a Cabernet Sauvignon. You're like, well, it is.
It is.
So, yeah, lots of lessons were learned, maybe more lessons to be learned. But it was a pleasure working with the guys at Planet Beer TV. They're funny guys. They know how to put good content together and how to edit it really well. And I learned some stuff about editing as well from them, just from watching what they put together. When you know the same story and you see how they put it together differently to you, it's always really interesting. So, yeah, that's it from Planet Beer TV for this year. Who knows? Maybe there'll be another... They want to call it channel hopping. They want to do one a year. We'll see if we can stretch to that. But we've got a Christmas episode coming. We've got our Homebrew Belgian Double episode coming. And then that will be it for the year, apart from our Christmas live show. But we have filmed our big in 2026 as well. And I will say, I'm not going to say what I'm predicting about or whether I got my previous predictions right, but there's green shoots of hope out there, Bradley, in the beer industry, I think. Even on the day after a British budget, there's still positive stuff to talk about for the first time in a couple of years, I would say. So it's going to be a positive start to 2026 for you. But we don't need to make this sound like it's the last podcast of the year. I apologise. We'll see you again next week, where we will be talking about more random nonsense. And I'm not quite sure whether it'll be the Christmas beer episode or the homebrew episode. It depends on whether my homebrew bottles have carbonated or not. So we'll leave you on tenterhooks there. Say love and beer, and see you next week. Is that a Polly Pocket? The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.